Come on. There we go.
Go up every single day, do the work.
Every single day. Kelly mentoring business, sports.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our first ever focused learning on the National Black HIV and AIDS Awareness. Today is the actual day. I'm wearing red, and I'm looking forward, and I hope you guys all are looking forward to learn and educate yourself on something that's really being overlooked in our community. So, without further ado, I would like to bring up our speakers, Miss Speaks Johnson and Mr. Doug Fogel. Hey, everyone. Please, I'll let you go first and give your introduction.
Well, I guess it's ladies first, like
Yes,
Queen
yes,
Latifah
yes.
said if you was watching the Grammys. So hi and hello, everyone. My name is Deidre Speaks. Deidre Johnson Speaks, and a lot of folks know me as Deidre Speaks. I'm actually coming to you today from the land of the Appomattox people, which is Colonial Heights, Virginia. I am representing an organization that I co-founded, which is Ending Criminalization of HIV and Over Incarceration in Virginia, or ECHO VA, and I am super excited to be here. And I'm going to pass it over to my partner in change, Doug, over at FAHASS.
Good evening. My name is Doug Fogel, and I'm the Early Intervention Specialist here at FAHASS in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And I work with the newly diagnosed and lost to care and anything else they want me to do.
Perfect. Well, today's agenda, we're definitely going to start with you first, Doug, speaking on what FAHAS brings to the community here in Fredericksburg, Stafford area, right? Is that my correct?
Fredericksburg, Stafford, quite a few counties. I'll bring that up here in the presentation a little bit.
All right. Without further ado, let's pull up your presentation. All right.
All right, let's see here. Might have to make this a little bigger so I can see it. Let's see here. Sorry. Okay. So we are Fredericksburg Area Health and Support Services. And we've been here since, you can go to the next screen. I don't think I have control of it. Okay. And so today we're going to talk about who we are, what we do, who we serve, and you can advance on to the next one. Okay. FAHAS. We were back in 1991, I believe it was just a small group that helped with people with HIV. And since then, we have really grown. We have noticed that in the last few years that we noticed a change in for people who need health care. And so we developed the Mosaic Care Center, and that's been open since 2021. And it's our clinic, and we are open to do primary care, HIV treatment, and the various other things. And then just recently, this past year, in August of 2022, we opened up the very first LGBTQ Pride Center, and it's only first one here in Fredericksburg. So it's open to people of LGBTQ, and it gives them a safe place to meet, to gather, to get resources, to have meetings. And so far it has been, I think, a very big success.
Uh-oh. Did I skip you back over.
That's
Uh-oh.
uh,
Am I going the wrong way? Here we go. All right, my bad.
go one more.
All right.
Okay, so we were talking about the counties that we serve. We serve 12 different counties, so we have a very big area that we cover, and we do have a satellite office in Culpeper. We have a case manager who meets out there with clients out in that area. And then, of course, we have our Mosaic Care Center where our case managers are located at. And then meet with with clients that are in the Fredericksburg area. And, and then we have another office downtown that serves for our transportation and our prevention. And then, of course, our main office, which we just got into just last year or a year before. And so now it houses all of our administration, housing, and a Pride Center.
Next slide.
Next slide.
There we go.
All right, so there's services that we have. We have medical case management. We have mental health, transportation, early intervention. Then we also have psychosocial, and I'm missing one. And housing. Yes. Okay, next one.
All right. Boom.
Okay, our medical case management. Our medical case management are there to help our clients to assess their needs, also to identify their care plans. Also, we do a 6 months assessment, and there's help with treatment adherence, and also with dental programs. And then you can go to the next slide, please.
Slide. Boom.
Okay, and to continue on with the medical case management, here are some other things that they will also do. They'll help connect to other sources such as legal, financial, social, or community needs. Also, they'll access for any kind of emergency needs. Also, they will do, I'm sorry, everything's going real small here. Okay. And then also they will do these other three things here. Other referrals, anything else that the client is in need of, they will help serve that client with the resources that they may need to get what they do need. Next slide.
There you go.
All right. Transportation. We do have a transportation. We do have one person who does all the transportation. He's the manager. He basically, what we do is they will refer from case management that they need transportation to the manager, and that person will give the client a call and let them know when they're being picked up, and then any other details that may need to be explained to the client. Early intervention, which is me. And so this is a short-term program that we support our clients. When they're newly diagnosed, I'm there to help them give them the guidance that they need to find the resources that they need, get them referred to medical care and to medical case management. And then if they are needing of any other needs, if they need to talk to someone, if they need some help in this service or another service, then I will definitely help them, guide them, and get them referred to the proper services that they need. And then we also identify any kind of barriers that they may have to keep them, to help them keep into treatment. Okay, next slide, please.
All right. Did I go back?
Yes, you did.
Here you go. Oh, sorry, hold on.
One more. Go
I'll
back the other way.
1, 2
One more.
There we go.
There we go. Housing. Housing.
This thing is very sensitive here.
It's okay. Housing. We do have a few programs in housing. We have what called short-term rental, mortgage, and utility assistance, and this will help our clients to make to get in kind of emergency. If they have some kind of emergency, maybe it's they need assistance in maybe just a short time limited housing. Also, they may be needed designed to also help them prevent from getting homelessness and increase their housing stability. This is one big thing that we do know with clients is that if they don't have housing, then they're most likely they are not going to stay on their treatments. And so this is a really big program, and it really helps our clients to maintain their health and their stability. You can go next. Okay, here's another program, which is a permanent housing placement. This is available for people who are looking to occupy a house or some kind of housing apartment. And it's designed to work with the client to help them get to the point where they are taking care of their own needs when it comes to housing. And that way they are staying in their home and staying on treatment and taking care of all the needs that they need. Okay, next one. Okay, and then this one here is a tenant-based rental assistance. There's a lot here about this. It also helps. This one here is to I'm sorry, the words are so small I can't make them out. But this one basically is to help them with any kind base rental assistance and to help them also decay on with their treatment. Every program that we have for housing is to help them with their treatment and to keep them HIV treatment adherent.
Oh, look at this thing so sensitive.
Really is sensitive.
There it goes.
Go back one more. Oh no, that's it. That's it. I'm sorry.
Yep, here we go. Yeah,
this is another real good one. It's an employment assistant training program. This is also with our housing programs. We have a person who sits with our clients and helps them with employment assistance, and also train them how to do a proper resume, how to do a proper interview, and also help them to find work with the housing to help them find housing also. So this has been a real good program. We had this program when we were in another building that we actually used this person for. They worked for what we call Goodwill, And so we use this person to help with our clients. So, but now she is with us and she's doing the very same thing she did when she was with Goodwill. And she's very, very important to us. Okay. Nice. Next screen.
There we go.
Okay. Prevention. We do have a prevention program, and we do go out and do HIV testing. We have testing pop-up areas that we go to, certain areas that we know that meets our criteria of, what is our demographic needs. And we also, we do test at the methadone clinics. We test at the local university here in the clinic. I actually go there twice a month to do their testings, and then any other events that we have, we're always out there doing testing. And next slide. Mental health. We do have a mental health counselor on the team. So he's here to work with any clients that are in need of mental health. It is recommended that our case managers do refer our clients to our mental health counselor. And I also, as a early intervention specialist, if I'm working with a newly diagnosed, I do recommend that they at least talk to him one time, and then they can decide if they still want to continue meeting him. But I do want them to at least talk to him at least once. Okay, next slide. Psychosocial. We have quite a few different psychosocial programs. We do have one of, I think it's one of our bigger ones, is our gay and bi men's group of Fredericksburg. And this is a group of men. They're either gay or they're bi. And we meet at least 2 times a month. And we either go out to eat, we go out to do activities. We might do a game night. We do some education along with that. And so it's a good time for our gay and bi men to meet and network with each other. And this seems to be a very big growing group, and we're always getting new people all the time. Nutrition program. We have someone here on staff who meets with our clients who would like to come, and we'll teach them how to fix a meal healthy, and what to use and what kind of greens to make it healthy for them. And then on the following week, they will meet again, and this person will also take them to shopping to teach them how to shop, how to buy the nutritious food, and they go to a local grocery store. Okay, next slide. Also, our psychosocial counselor also does life skills. So once or twice a month, he'll have our clients come together and sign up and come together, and he will perform or have someone come in and do a life skill to help that client to live a much healthier life, to live a better life, to help them with everyday needs. We do have a women's group. It's called Woven. And this is also just like our men's group, is that they get together and they network and they meet and go out to lunch, or just someone they can get together and talk among themselves and maybe this person's having a situation, and maybe someone else can help answer that question, or it's the time of sharing. So, and our women likes this program. Okay. Next one, please. Okay, Mosaic Care Center. This is our clinic. We also do primary care, and there's a list of things that we cover for our primary care, and we also do our HIV treatment here too, and we also offer PrEP, and we will have people who want to be on PrEP. They'll come in, they'll see our nurse practitioner, they'll get lab work done, and then we will upload the prescription to the pharmacy that we use, and then they will get their medication delivered to their home. And so this is a program that we're trying to grow, and we continue working with that. And I personally work with that one also. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, our Pride Center, as I mentioned before, it's the very first LGBTQ community center in this area. And it just provides a safe and affirming space for any local LGBTQ groups or people to come. We have a lounge or a place where there's couches and there's chairs that you can come, very relaxing. And if you just want to come by yourself, sit there and read, it's there available for them to do that. And then also we have groups come in to have their meetings. We do activities. We have game night. We have and any other kind of meetings that they would like to do. I think we did a craft night one time, and so there's a lot of different things that we do for the LGBTQ center, and this is something that's growing, and we have seen it grow quite a bit here in the last almost 6 months now. Next slide, please. How can you help? Well, we definitely would take donations. We'll always take donations. We like getting donations. You can advocate for us was one way, and just spread the word, about who is FAHASS. If you know someone who lives in the Fredericksburg area and need some help, they need primary care, they need PrEP, they need HIV treatment. Or that they just want to find some good place to meet for LGBTQ. Hey, just let them know about us. And we definitely would love to host and also bring other people into our clientele. Okay, I think.
Yep, and then we have this stat sheet that was provided. So let me show that real fast. Well, in the meantime, while I pull that up, Miss Larisha, she can give her welcome, explain what she does here in the community, her businesses and stuff like that.
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My apologies for being late. Kids, when they call, you answer. But thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I am Laura Shea Lovett. I am the owner of Artistry Lather, which is a bath and body company. I am a new board member to the Virginia Black Business Directory here locally. I am a part of the LGBT community. I have a wife. We've been together almost 10 years now. So I am not a stranger to this world. I'm also not a stranger to our topic today because my aunt passed away from AIDS in 2000, nope, lying, 1996. It was very new to us. And so this is a topic that is very heavy on my heart. And I advocate for this topic. So I appreciate you for allowing me to be on your platform.
Yay! And then her son also. We are like that's the one-on-one champion right there. I'm telling you, I gotta come see him again so I can make it happen because I know he probably asking where I'm at. All right, so let's share this screen. So maybe Doug, I don't know if you can help me with these statistics, but this is what she shared with me.
If I can see it.
Don't worry, Doug. I got your back. I got your back. And even though I'm if y'all only halfway knew half of the hats that I wear, I might be representing Echo as a co-founder, but there's all of this great surveillance. I will have to say and give kudos to Virginia Department of Health because on a lot of levels, we are ahead of the game when it comes nationwide, when it comes to gathering our data. And not only gathering it, but gathering it and sharing. So what this is every year, not every year, excuse me. There are surveillance reports, and anytime that a person comes up with anything, and I mean, from almost that common cold that is going rampant since 2019, even down to HIV, then there are folks are, for lack of a better term, counted in the space. And so what we have is from 2017 to current to 2021 is just a little bit of data. So in 2021, we had a total of new diagnoses in Virginia of 889. And in 2021, we had 767. And although that might seem, it's a little, but we still got a little bit ways to go, and we will start to see more data, especially that little blip that we see with the 630, because around 2019, of course, testing and all that great stuff happened to change in how we were able to present that and also get tested and get the data. So we have a breakdown by male, we have a breakdown by female, and I know we're working on getting other, making sure that other gender identities are also included in this data. Again, Virginia's on the forefront, but the parts that I'm just going to be very honest that I want to break down, especially on this day is National Black HIV/AIDS Awareness Day, is that when we look at Black and non-Hispanic, that is at 25. We have 25.8 percent of the population, and I'm gonna go to that in a second because sometimes you look at these numbers scare folks, and they even scare me. Um, but when we look at that for new diagnosis, 438. If we look at the other races that are also represented, and as far as our white counterparts, that's 209%. 209 people in 2021. Y'all, this coffee is kicking in, and the brain is moving faster than the And so 438 for African Americans, non-Hispanic. For white, that was 209 individuals that were newly diagnosed in 2021. Hispanic is at 87. And one piece that I was going to share in my presentation, what these numbers mean at the end of the day is when it comes to Black and brown individuals in the state of Virginia, we only account for total population, about 19% of Virginia's population. However, we account for over 53% of newly diagnosed individuals. And that's when you see that 438. So if we only make up 19% of the population, but of that, when it comes to HIV new diagnosis, we are in the 50 range, 53% of that. So that's something to really, especially on this day, to take into account, because it may seem, well, HIV may not be happening to me. You don't care. You don't know that you care about HIV, but trust me, you care about HIV because, another sidebar, all of these things that are happening with rapid response and this wonderful disease that we have rolling around right now, this virus, is in relation to the response to the HIV epidemic. And that is why we are able to come up with treatments. We are able to come up with vaccines. We are able to come up with how to care for the whole person that is living with HIV and COVID at the same time. And I see you, Doug. I probably took over in that space. So I'm going to go to the next. Y'all go to the next slide. I was trying to help your eyes. Sorry.
I think this one. This is the next slide.
I got it big now, but so you continue. You're doing a good job.
Oh, no. Yeah, I was trying to help you in the moment. You go right ahead.
Okay, this slide here is, I'm just seeing these slides for the first time because Michelle got these things together and I don't know what they are exactly. I'm just going to have to read them. But the new HIV diagnosis rates by race, and here is this, of course, 2017 to 2021. As you can see, I got to move my screen here a little bit. It's glaring. You can see how things have changed here in the newly diagnosed. Back in 2019, we had a little higher there, around 32. But all in all, it's been staying pretty level there. We did have a little drop there in 2020, and I do believe that's because of COVID. I think we did find out that, or at least we have noticed that during COVID, a lot of people were not getting out and they're not doing things, together, being together. And so we had noticed the change there, I think, around that time. And we had a slightly raise there in around 2021. Today, me personally have not had a whole lot of newly diagnosis last year. So the numbers probably still are going to be a little low when those results come out.
All right. And the next slide was, oops, there you go. Ooh. Boom. Here we go. That's the last slide.
Okay. Let's see here. There you can see they're broken out into the 5 districts in Virginia. We have the central, which is like kind of Richmond area. Hold on, something popped up on the screen. Central area around Richmond area. Eastern, of course, is on the eastern, now Norfolk, Virginia Beach area. Northern, it's of course up in the northern part of Virginia. Northwest, which includes Fredericksburg, all the way over to Winchester, all the way down to Harrisonburg, Charlottesville, and then everything in between that. And then, of course, the southeast is down, or southwest is down in the west part of Virginia, where it's very, very remote. Very few agencies in that area. As you can see, and as for male, you can notice that it's higher counts there with males than it is with females, and the percentages. And we see that across the board, I believe, is, as always, it seemed like with the male, you got the men of color. So many times they're on the down low. They're not, they're being very secretive. And we find that the majority of our males who are being tested HIV is of men of color. And it shows right there on the second part of this that you got Black or Hispanic, all of them are usually in the higher percentage of our group of people who are tested with HIV.
All right, all right. I said now let's get to the nitty gritty of Miss Speaks over here. I'm about to pull your slide up over here.
And I promise I will well because I think we are off at in about 24 minutes.
No, you got time.
No, first off, I'm gonna cut up food and welcome to Deidre Speaks. Because I time is everyone's is valuable for everyone, even your listeners, your watchers, your followers, the folks that will watch this later. So I want to make sure I'm within my time constraints.
Yep. Here
But
we go.
as one of my family members would say, I'm going to make sure to keep this like a mini skirts, long enough to be interesting and short enough to cover the most important parts. So as you can see, you see there's a lot of things that are going to be brought up today. And today is a very, very special day, especially in the fact that it is Black History Month, but it is National Black HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. And this is something that is personally very near and dear to my heart, especially as a woman that has been living with HIV for the past 22 years. And I found out a lot of this information just by one. I was a pre-med major. I went to a Northern Virginia high school, go Majors, Mount Vernon, in the DC DMV area, and went to JMU. Sorry, I know we have other folks that are outside of the Virginia aspect, but went to James Madison as a pre-med. And there were a lot of things as a Black woman that I was not taught, and some things that was not discussed in school, sex ed and all of that. And of course, we know we're talking about HIV. I won't go into the specifics, just at the end of the day, this affects all of us. And so when I found out a little bit more information about the fact that you could be criminalized as a person living with HIV, myself and my partner in whom is actually on his way to Spain today and could not be with us, literally created this organization, this coalition of individuals called ECHO VA, Ending HIV Criminalization and Over-Incarceration in Virginia Coalition. And go to the next slide. I promise y'all we're going to keep it, because I really want, if there's questions and all of that, and just really get to any questions that even have a conversation amongst us. So HIV criminalization is very simple. It refers to the overly broad and very outdated use of criminal laws that are used to penalize individuals that are living with HIV. And the catch is that it can be for non-disclosure. It could be that there is not even any sexual contact that has ever been in place, but just as a person living with HIV. What we do know is that currently there's 5 things about HIV criminalization that we do know that work and don't work. And one, it doesn't work as intended, because in 1994, these laws were enacted just in a way for federal government or states to be able to get federal funds called the Ryan White Fund that you heard that Doug spoke about earlier. In order to receive services, you had to say, well, if someone spread something, then they will go to jail. And that's how these fundings came about. And because of that, that's where the laws came. The criminalization does work against public health. If you don't know your HIV status, then that way you know that you won't be criminalized. So therefore, you're not going to go and get tested so that you don't know that you have either HIV or any other sexually transmitted diseases as well. They don't align with current science, because there's a thing now called U equals U, where if you are at an undetectable state, then you cannot transmit HIV onto your partner, so that it's in sexual contact. So me as an HIV positive woman, if I'm having unprotected sex with, or unprotected or condomless sex with a partner, as long as I'm HIV undetectable, then I will not be able to transmit HIV to my partner. And especially with PrEP, you heard Doug go over something called PrEP, which is pre-exposure prophylactics. And sorry for the reference, but it is what it is. It's like a birth control for HIV, and it's a pill that you can take every day that will prevent HIV becoming HIV possible. And there's also something called PEP, which is post-exposure prophylactics. That if you think within 72 hours that you can actually obtain, which again, sorry for the reference, a Plan B for HIV, which would help with the transmission not being transmitted to you within the 72-hour framework. Please understand 72 hours is very vital in this space. It does increase stigma because we can go into HIV stigma and its intersection for hours, but I won't. But especially on a state level, it continues to perpetuate stigma and discrimination. And for one, it does not help our justice system because pills alone for persons living with HIV can cost upward, pills and injections can cost upward to anywhere $10,000 a month and up to $30,000 to $40,000+ a year. Depending, we have some new things. You can go to the next slide. Some things I'm going to skip over and jump over. And so I kind of talked about this and how the epidemic, how we came to these laws. So we'll go ahead and pass on that. So these things have been in the books and on the books in states across the country for the past 30 years. And because of new advances, they haven't changed. You can go to the next slide. Here are a few states, and you have these slides. I definitely, if anyone would like to see them, please share them at any point. But these are some states that, as of 2021, these are 35 states that have laws that criminalize HIV exposure. And we'll go to the next slide. And as to why we're definitely talking about Virginia, because Virginia is actually on the forefront and was the first state in the South to modernize our HIV criminalization laws. But there's impacts when it comes to HIV criminalization. And as Doug talked about, we talked about homelessness, we talked about substance use, we've talked about all kinds of things. We may or may not included sex work in that as well. But these are things that impact the rest of our lives, especially if you're criminalized for HIV. I can definitely tell you about cases in Tennessee where some women are actually being targeted because of their HIV status and their work as sex work. Work, in my opinion, sex work is work. And it is a choice in which you choose to how you want to do your employment. And they are targeted specifically, and they are actually, if they find out that the person is living with HIV, and again, there's no sexual contact, there's no exposure happening at all, and they are being put on sex registries for the rest of their lives. They have children. I don't know if you know that. Guess what? You can't go to your kid's school. You can't support at basketball, football, any sports because of that. So there's a major impact outside of the courtroom. We'll go to the next slide. There's a lot more, but I'm just not. So I really wanted to share on this is because, again, I stated that Virginia was on the forefront to be one of the first in the nation, in the South, to be able to change our law. And prior to 2021, July 1st of 2021, then if you intended to transmit HIV, that was a felony, regardless if a person is virally suppressed or not, which means that U equals U that we had spoke about. Again, this is not aligning with science. Whether or not you disclosed, so non-disclosure, if you did disclose, it was mandated, you must disclose your status regardless of intent or if there's any sexual contact that happens. And then there's also the general HIV laws. So like if someone's fighting, assault, those kind of things, then they would also attack one. You may have heard where folks were spitting, biting, and or throwing bodily fluids at folks. And those are not modes of transmission, just FYI. And then, of course, the donation of blood, bodily fluids, tissues, and organs. There was a penalty for that. We'll go to the next slide. And here were some of the convictions. I told you about the felony, up to 5 years in jail. For misdemeanor, it could be up to 12 months in jail and a $2,500 fine. And again, these are not of exposure. This could be, I was dating said person and they didn't know my status or I didn't share my status. We never engaged in any sexual or intimate contact. And then they can then go to the judge or to the police station and say that, hey, this person didn't tell me. There was no, so it was more at the core of it. It was a he said, she said type of a situation, whether they did or they didn't in others. I can go on for hours and hours on the stories of individuals that this has been impacted. I see your face. I see it. I see it. I see it. I see it. Come on in the room. And so, man, there was even mandatory testing for individuals. And guess what? Some of that was tried to be intended to be used in court, which we all know then that, your personal business is court record. And we won't even go with the impacts of how that impacts folks outside of, and then of the courtroom. But then you could also go into quarantine. They could put you in isolation, and then they could force treatment on you. And if that's not your choice, then forcing you to take whatever medication, and that's not your will. That's a whole violation of civil rights and everybody else's rights. So we'll go to the next slide. I ain't even gonna go there. We'll go to the next slide. That's just a political reality. When we did this at the time, our political reality was a little bit different when it comes to membership in the House and all of that. But the long and short of the bill that we worked on, the title of it, if you look under the Legislative Information System, LIS, you can look under Senate Bill 1138. And the way that we were able to make this happen, we had national partners that worked along with us. Equality Virginia was one of our partners that were definitely in the state. Positive Women's Network. Told you I hold a lot of hats. I'm also the state lead for the Positive Women's Network. And then, of course, the co-founder of ECHO VA. We were working with that. We have a coalition of 30 plus members from across the state. And then another hat that I also wear is just recently was, as of February 1st, I'm now the National Programs and Strategic Planning Manager for the Zero Project. And they too, at that time, were assisting us in getting to this journey of where we're at. So I'll skip all of the specifics and all the other extra titles, because when I say I am excited about the soapstress in her story, I really want and open these conversations up for the audience and us. We can go to the next slide. End of the day, as of March 31st, 2021, we were able to change our bill, change the laws, and it took effect on July 1st of 2021. This is just kind of break down just, the bill is a bill type stuff in the House, and just some numbers and how it passed in the Senate. It was a close one. Everywhere around it was close, but we were able to sign that bill into law, have it signed by Governor Northam on March 31st. So as of July 1st, you can go to the next slide. And I know, Doug, if you're talking about that was teeny, this one, and if it wasn't for the grace of God that it is embedded in my brain, but it's, yeah. So here are a few things that we were able to change as of July 1st. One, we modernized the law. With the only part of the law that we are now in the piece of trying to work back on is that we still have the felony piece on the books. You do not have to disclose your HIV status. And not only that, we also expanded that to where that also includes any sexually transmitted diseases as well. So that is one piece for non-disclosure. Some people might say, well, why would you do that? There's safety issues that come in. If I walk into a room and whether I'm being assaulted or whether I'm being intimate with consent, and I go to tell my HIV status or any other status, there could be some hurt, harm, or danger caused. There are some folks that are living in these situations because of situationals, and if they share their status on these things, there could be hurt or harm caused to them because of this. So that was one. And in addition to that, it goes back to our testing piece as to why we want to make sure to encourage folks to be able to feel comfortable to go and get tested without stigma and discrimination. We also took away the mandatory testing. So now you are no longer mandatorily tested if you're convicted of sex work or drug use or drug anything. That will not happen any longer. And as well, thank you, my sister. We now actually have made it to where the testing provision as well with the tissue body fluids, and that you will not be penalized for that. This is major. because it stops on the state level the perpetuation of stigma and discrimination from the state level. And it also gets us talking. And you can go to the next slide. We are the first state in the South to even tackle these and or be successful to get them at any way. So like I promised, I tried to make it like that mini skirt. Here's how you can reach out to us. If you have an email, you have questions, you can definitely reach out at justiceforechova@gmail at any way. And I'm always available on anything. See, djspeaks.com is my personal website, as well as I'm DJ Speaks on all socials. So I am excited to hear the next speaker, and I thank you for this opportunity. You on mute?
All right, I'm not the first to do that, okay? I'm just but I just wanted, before I allow Miss Levitt to give her story here, I just want to say, man, this is definitely eye-opening to me. And it's like I'm learning something that when I was researching, realizing that it's really something that's truly being thrown underneath the bus. And I think it needs to be brought to the forefront. And the reason why I'm here is I feel like my whole model, I said, I'm hearing too much of these kids from a younger generation saying, I just don't know. So now, the youth that are following me, watching this video, replay this video, get to know, because you're going to get older. You're going to get, it's an age come and wisdom come too, but you need to educate yourselves so we can keep them numbers at a lower, a level. Because I've seen some elevations and I've seen some drops, and I'm like, OMG. And then on top of that, from today, the national Black HIV and the African American race were just way above the others, So I think that should be brought to a lot of the forefront. FAHASS brung up some stuff where you can be helped. Reach out to them. I did have a question though before we move. Where can we go get tested here locally in the Fredericksburg area? Is it the same address where you're located at, or is it a different facility?
Yes, you can get tested at the Mosaic Care Center. I can do testing here if you happen to come here. But our main testing is usually done at our downtown office at 415 Elm Street. Sometimes might be best to give a phone call to set up a time to come. We're not always there. We're sometimes out in the field.
Okay.
And we do also have, I believe we have been certain to put it in our website of where we are popping up at to be testing.
Got you. Now, is this testing, like I heard, if I'm mistake, correct me if I'm wrong, that you guys do the full, or does, I guess, STD, HIV, and all other, is that the whole realm of testing that you guys do there, or is it strictly?
We just do the HIV at these pop-up testing, and we also will do Hep C.
Hep C.
Yes. And then if you come to the Mosaic Care Center, then we can they can give you a lab slip to go get your other things done.
Gotcha.
And Doug, does I know just Fredericksburg, but in some spaces, sometimes you can also contact the health department depending on where you are.
True.
To ask for some testing. Sometimes I can't guarantee, because COVID is coming to an end, they say. You can also well, you used to in the last few months be able to get one that will be mailed to you very discreetly, and that there is that home testing as well. My preference is that you go in to see someone, would be my personal preference for a lot of reasons.
We also do home testing too. If you would go on our website and say, request a testing for at home, we will send that to you. We also, when we're sending out things like that, is also condoms. We have a condom mailing program. So if you want some condoms, you don't feel like going to the store to get them, you just want that to be kept a secret or, disclosed and everything. So you can also reach out to us also on the website and say you like to have condoms sent to you, and we will mail those out to you.
All right, all right. Well, I'm gonna let Miss Lovey give her nice story here, and then from there we'll have a Q&A amongst each other here on the panel. I do have a few questions I've been writing down and listening. As you probably saw, my eyes got big on a lot of conversations that brought up, so I definitely have a few questions.
Hello, everyone. So I am not an expert, okay, in the field. I am coming as a family member who had an aunt who was exposed to HIV, ended up getting a common cold, and then it transpired into AIDS. So I may not have said that correctly, but this was back in 96 when it was still like new and fresh, and people were still navigating through the, and all the resources that has been given here today wasn't as big and prevalent as it was back in that time. And I was only 13, y'all, so I didn't even know a lot about this. Okay. We had a hospice care come in and explain all of this to us, and explain to us that because she had got the cold, she was tested. She had HIV that we didn't even know until it became AIDS because of the common cold. And at this point, it was too late at that time for all the medicine that Doug and Miss Johnson gave y'all that could help keep your detection low. It was too late for that. So as a family member of someone who was in the trenches and was there every day, in and out, I just want you to know that we want you to be safe. We want you to use the protection out there. We want you to get tested and have these resources at hand. I know for our family, I can't speak for all family, but for our family, we didn't treat her any different. We didn't even know a lot about, like, can I get it through touching? Can I get it through sharing a fork? Can I get it through using the same toilet or laying in the same bed? We didn't know any of that, but we honestly didn't care. It was a family member who was being hurt by something that we had no control of. And had we known the knowledge and had the resources and had the advanced medicine that is here today, we would have took it any day of the week. So for those of you who are watching, I can promise you that there's someone out there who wants you to take control of your life, use the resources, because they rather have you here healthy than not here. And it was so painful to watch her go through that. And I don't wish that on any family at all. And I was 13. It was very eye-opening for me when it came to sex and protection. I didn't know a lot about it. So during that 6 months of hospice, I learned about all of this. And that let me tell my friends, because I could tell you anyone who was my friend, they knew all about it. They mama was probably mad at me and mad at my mom because I was like, this can happen to us, you guys. This can do this can do that. But had we not been exposed, I probably wouldn't have knew as much as I did about it and learning through it. So yeah, I'm not gonna cry because I'm just thinking about how far it has come. And I am so thankful that we have Faha and we have Miss Johnson who are in the trenches, who are letting you know that they're fighting for you and they want you here and they want you safe and they want you to take care of your health. It's a hard conversation, but it's a must-have conversation because we want you here at all costs. If I could go back and give my aunt all of the technology that we have now, my God, if our family and maybe this is a Black thing, if our family was more open to talk and having age appropriate conversations about sex, about protection, if we were more open to having those conversations at a younger age and not waiting until you think they're about to have sex, or not waiting until you find out someone is pregnant. If you start having those age appropriate conversations at a younger age, we can bring the numbers down, or we can help by saying you can use these medications to bring your detection down, and so you can live a healthier, full life. Because you can. There's a lot of people walking around and they're living healthy lives, but they had to make the decision to want to live a healthy life. So make the decision today. You can no longer say you don't have the information, because it's been given here. You can no longer say you don't know where to go, because they have told you where you can reach out to. And we have this beautiful thing called a cell phone that got Google or Safari on there. You can Google any and everything you want at your fingertip. So your family wants you here, your friends want you here. There's a community who wants you here, and they want you to be healthy, and they want you to get the medication. They want you to any resources you need. So on behalf of my aunt, who was not afforded this opportunity, who was not known of all of this, and we didn't know all of this, take the help, get out there. And it is a beautiful thing of how far it has come. And she actually we have a aid quote for her with with DC. So it is up there. I haven't seen it in a very long time. So, because it brings up a lot of pain. But today I'm choosing to take that pain and hurt that I had and flip it into the growth that has happened within the community of HIV, and all the laws that are being changing from modernizing, all the medication and the resources, and then the community that is being built, because we didn't have this community back then at all. We did not have it. It hit us hard, and we didn't understand what it was. So I was very exposed to what HIV and how it transpired into AIDS early on. But even then, it still hasn't been talked about much. So thank you for having this conversation. Again, I'm not an expert. I just come as a family member that was literally close to it, and I see what it can do to you when it goes untreated. I see what it can do to you when when you don't know the resource or have the resources that you have now. So that's it.
Thank you for sharing that story. And just a caveat on what she said. You guys have the resources. You guys, there's resources here on this panel. You can reach out to me. Like I said, anybody can tell you. If you reach out to me asking a question, if I don't know it, I'm gonna go find somebody that can get you that answer. Because at the end of the day, I believe, like he brought it up in his presentation. Mental health is real. I don't play about that at all. And I feel like if I can't answer that question, we got to have a conversation, because I want to know, and suicide rates, go up a lot, it's real. And I think it's four things I live by here with Cali, and the kids that I come across can tell you is time management, commitment, communication, and accountability. Those four things I try to pour into the youth that I work with locally. I pour into the community when I'm helping at the Bresman Center, with veterans that I'm talking to on a daily basis. I'm a firm believer, and I always say this is a touchy subject to bring on, because people all always say something. It starts at home, ladies and gentlemen. As your young ones, your kids, parents, we have to find time to speak to our kids about sex education. We have to find time to, talk to our kids about, getting tested and ensuring that we remain safe. And all that comes with time management. As a parent, you got to find time to speak to your child about those things, because the real world is coming. especially with these teenagers. You know, you got to find time to communicate with your kids because it's crazy because it's a lot of times, and I deal with it a lot. There's a lot of parents that just drop their kids off and run and don't even communicate with me that the kid has a disability I got to deal with. I think that happened at one of my camps a while back where a kid had a disability and he was in the parking lot half the time. I had to chase the kid. I mean, I'm like, what's wrong? What's going on? And then come to back to find out that the kid, you know, was dealing with a disability that I had no knowledge about. But if I knew prior to everything, I would have had already a plan in place in my head on the fly to say, hey, okay, this is how I got to deal with this and this time. You know what I'm saying? So you have to communicate. As parents, we got to be accountable for our own actions as well. You know, if we fail in ourselves, we fail in those that we bringing up. Our kids, our younger generation didn't ask to be here, but we continue to build on that younger generation. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like all that has to come together to help, you know, because at the end of the day, the younger generation will later take care of us. So we need to educate them so we won't be in excuse my French, I say hellhole in the future. We won't be in a hellhole in the future. But this right here is like, man, it's like anything. Like I just want everybody to just reach out to Doug, reach out to Miss Speaks. I'm gonna call her Miss Speaks. Reach out to Larisha. You can reach out to myself if you have any questions. Sometimes we just need to talk, and that's part of the mental health phase. Just call. People can tell you, I let you call, I'll put you on speakerphone, I'm gonna continue working, but I'm gonna let you talk because sometimes that talking can allow you to just be like, oh, whew, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? So just figure out, find a safe space, through it all. And I'm advocating everybody just to stay on board, be strong, collaborate with each other. Do not try to be bigger because no one's bigger than the next person. I'm not bigger than Miss Speaks. I'm not bigger than Larisha or Doug. Because at the end of the day, I'm eventually going to need one of their helps. So don't think like they're not here to help you. I think everybody has this thing where pride, get rid of that. I tell everybody, get rid of your pride. Everybody's pride is bigger than their ego. And it's crazy to me. Like, do not have pride. I think I'm going to give a prime example of pride for me. I used to have an issue with asking for help, whether it's in the community, my grandmother, my mom, my dad. I figured I can do everything on my own. Absolutely not. As I get older, I need a little more help. As you can see, I reached out to these individuals here on this panel for help. I'm not knowledgeable in this, but I want to make sure you are. I need help. So don't be afraid to ask, hey, can I, mom, dad, cousin, auntie, grandma, can we all go get tested as a family? They're going to look at you weird at first because they're going to be like, what? But at the end of the day, they'll be like, you know what? You're right. Let's go out there and do it. Let's put ourselves together and realize, okay, let's go do this. And so we all can be in the know. We got to be in the know. So,
and to the parents, you know, I mean, not just parents, I'm gonna say guardians, folks that support, you know, our youth. And, you know, that shows up from some grandmommies to aunties to, you know, the neighbor down the street, even your chosen family. You know, we have to also open up our hearts and our space and our minds. Remember, we was not always this age, you know, and we was young too, and we have to sometimes open up the door, you know, to say, yeah, did that before. And I know you got to put that pride aside and be like, nah, yeah, I did that too, and share that. And especially, you know, when it comes to our youth, because they are our future, they are the solutions and the dreams and the hope that our ancestors, we even included, are looking for. Don't ever hesitate to reach out to any one of us youth. Again, on social medias, I try to be on more frequent than I am, but the thing that will save your life is opening your mouth and asking the question, and or not sharing your experience without being stigmatized. And, you know, as a parent of one child that's non-binary, one as a cis heterosexual male, that grew up in sports, you know, you come also from a Black perspective. I'm dealing with two children, and the one thing that I always say is that if you have a child that says that they identify differently than what you expected them, please don't put them out. Please don't put them out. Please don't cast your child out in the space, because that too gives them reason to become HIV possible, because they have to fend for themselves, have to find housing, have to find some type of means of support. So consider seeking support, reaching out to other folks that look like us, and how do I handle and deal with this in that space. And if you are a person living with HIV, I want to just pull you to the side. You are a valuable member of this community. You are everything that we ever hoped for, and we're here to support you fully. And whatever services you need, you heard about FAHASS. They've got those things. Unfortunately, if you live in an area where I am, and some of you may have already figured out, I'm actually, as a woman living with HIV, I'm actually homeless and have been for over a year. But the one thing for sure, and two things for damn certain, I am not going to stop advocating for my community, for myself, and for others to make this a better place for other individuals as well. So you can do this. You can do this. You can do this. And if we, in 2 years, can change a law that people told us that we couldn't do, and even the lawmakers said we couldn't do it, and we came in with zero knowledge about legislative and policy and came in and did it. You too can do this too. So, and I got to say to all of us on this call, this is some of y'all that know me in these streets, and a few of my sisters are on this right now. And even if you in the streets of the Zoom, put your arm up like this. I need everybody to do that 90-degree angle. Everybody put that arm up. And I want you to move it up and down and say, toot, toot, toot. That's you tooting your own damn horn for how amazing that you are on this space right now, because you are particularly important on this space, especially to you, sir, for even having us in this space.
Yes, yes. So I did also, I kind of got into my little mode here. I had a few questions, right? So one of the questions I did kind of just have, maybe it's a basic one. I don't know. Maybe you can help me. I don't know if you guys know. I'm gonna start with the basic question. The red. Why red?
Blood. Because it represents blood. It's red is for blood. That's an excellent question.
It's for blood.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just good to know. Good to know. And then the other question I have, well, it kind of really not much of a question. I think I heard you say that there can attend sporting events for children, like people that are diagnosed.
No, that's if you're on the sex registry.
Sex registry.
Because
Okay, okay.
Some individuals who have been placed on the sex registry have not put anyone at risk, have not transmitted HIV, but because they were in the work of sex work, and they were right, and because of their HIV status and charged for sex work, then they also were placed on the sex registry. But it has nothing to do with children or anything else. It's just the fact that they were HIV positive, and that. And on top of that, I actually know we have a person in New York who also, this happens. We know hookup culture is real in these streets with the young folks. Whether it's Facebook dating or whether it's Tinder, Grinder, everybody's hers. These things are happening, and folks are having hookups. And then after the hookups, they may see them in other sites or find out their status, or there was a possibility that they think there's somebody. And so then there was not even exposure. And this person actually has been on the sex registry and didn't even have contact with an individual at all. So wherever they go, and this started in Louisiana, they've now moved to New York. And so every place that they go, they have to register.
Wow. See, that's good to see.
And again, this is not relations that they're having with underage persons, because when we hear sex registry, we assume that it's that. This is not anything related to that piece. It is strictly because of your HIV status.
Got you. Okay. All right, I got to go back to my man Doug over here. Doug, I had a question I wrote down for you. Why did you choose like the early development part of to have that title, to be in that field? Like, why the early development part of it?
Actually, it was just given to me. But it was a position that they had made here, and of course they offered it to me, and I took it. And And I've been working in this field for 11, 10 years now. So I've been in the HIV field for a while now. So, and it's just something that's dear to my heart is people who are newly diagnosed. And I, I want to make sure that they are getting the best treatment that they can get, make sure that they are living the best, healthiest life that they can live, and also let them know that, we're here to support you, and also that it's not a death sentence anymore. That is the biggest thing, I think, is that, that they can live with this. And I've had clients who were on the brink of death, and I had worked with them and pulled them out of it. And, I made sure they got to see the doctor, make sure they're doing their medications, and, make sure they're getting educated. And now they are healthy, very healthy. Actually, they're probably healthier than I am.
Rick, Doug, it's funny you say that. It's like, because I do a lot of national work, and that's one of the things we say. Sometimes you find out that people living with HIV, we're honestly some of the most healthiest people, because we do have, there are barriers to some accesses. Again, we can go in an intersection, can speak for hours, but that, that we're, very in tune with what's going on with our bodies, how medications, and we're going at least to see at least one doctor. Around, at least once a year on a given. So I like the way you said that.
Oh man. Larisha, did you have any questions you wanted to ask the panelists?
So one of the questions I have is, I understand that with FAHA, y'all do more the individual. Do you have family support as well? Because I know that sometimes for family, it can be hard because, like I say, it's a stigma. We don't really talk about it as much, or we like pedal around it. So is there support for the family so they can learn and be there for the individual as well? Because we may not know how to show up and be there.
Exactly. There is support. We do have, excuse me, once a month we have a education night for our clients, and it's also a night for them to have dinner. A lot of times we have pharmaceuticals will come in, and they will bring dinner for us. And at this dinner or education night, a family member can come with them, or a partner can come with them, and it's a chance, for them to learn about what their partner is going through, or what their family member is going through. Of course, during this time, there is a paper is signed by the person who is coming in as a family member or a partner, and because we still want to make sure that everything that's said there is confidential. And but we do have opportunities for that. We just got done with and this is the first time that we've done it back face to face again, or in person. We had been doing it virtual for a couple of years. Is our yearly gala for our clients. We throw this big gala. All right. They come, we have all kinds of food, and the staff of the agency comes, and we serve them. And, we're there for them. We serve them. We help them, serve them food. It's a time for them to react with everyone else. This is also, they can bring a +1. We may have dancing. We'll have music. We have awards. We have recognitions. And this is the first year that I actually was in charge of it, because I run the Consumer Advisory Board here. And and that's the group that helps develops all these things for our clients. And so I work with them very closely. But yeah, it was fun. It was great to be back in person again. So we are looking forward to next year, and then we're going to actually start a lot earlier this year and plan it a little bit more. So
Gotcha. Thank you for that. Another question I have is, and I don't know if I've heard it, but do they still do the quilt in DC, or they still do? Because I
So,
remember during Obama administration, they pulled it out over the lawn every year, but I haven't seen it since. So I don't know.
and they haven't pulled it out in its full entirety.
Gotcha.
But
not
there
enough
is an
room for it
organization.
entirely anymore.
Exactly. It's past the mall now.
Yeah.
It's whew. But I do know there is actually an organization, and it's called the Memorial. They actually have the Quilt Memorial. There's one that's based out of Atlanta. One of my, again, I got 50 million hats and all these folks. But the AIDS Quilt Memorial, they have that, and you can actually request. So say there's an event that you would like to have, you can actually contact them, and they will actually send you your aunt's quilt for an event, and it can be put somewhere.
We
So
actually, when I used to work in Winchester at AIDS Response Effort, I was in charge of we did a yearly thing for our clients also again, and make awareness of HIV and stuff like that. And we got the quilts, and I had two of them, two big panels. And we displayed them at the hospital, laid them out, and people came around and looked at it. And then once we were done with that, we took it to the local library and had it hanging from the rafters down. And we actually had Ron White's quilt that year. So it was really cool. Yeah. And then you
That's
have to fold it a
awesome.
certain way to put it back too. That was always hard to do.
Thank you. So, Ms. John, I'm gonna be inboxing you. I'm gonna try to see if I can get that loan. I'm gonna send it back when you get it loaned. So, because it's been many moons. That was one of our closure projects we did with her before she passed away. So she helped make it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. So we will definitely have to chat. I have a lot of connections. We all do. Some connections that if you do, and Doug is completely right. If there's conferences, we have had, those that are closest, and you write in what area, if you have specific names, and they will send that to you. There is a process, because you got to make sure that we get it back in one piece, because it is very valuable. Honestly, is invaluable, to be very frank.
Right.
And to have someone who actually worked on theirs is even more. Whew.
And you have to look at the price, because it is not cheap to get one of those pieces.
Yeah. And I definitely want to say just thank you. There are a few folks that have been messaging me. You see me going back and forth but just to have a family member perspective, to come in and to share. And there are very few. They're limited. I ain't gonna say there's few. There's limited partners and family members that assist and speak out and feel comfortable to do that and share that. So, literally from past and present, those of us that are people living with HIV and AIDS, we personally, sincerely thank you and your family for continuing to guide your auntie's legacy and sharing hers. That's one piece that we are very adamant about, is not forgetting their names. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for this question. So we kind of want to go around the room one last time. I would love everyone to leave some, not say final words. Let's say a word of the wise. Let's go around the room and leave a word of the wise to the community watching this in reference to, National Black HIV, AIDS, and awareness. So let's start at the bottom. You first, Doug.
Oh, you would go to me first. Word of the wise. If you have never been tested, always just please go get tested. It's always good to know what your status is, because if you don't know what your status is, then you don't know what you are giving to someone else. Um, and we want to make sure that we have a very healthy community, and to do that is to be tested.
All right. Let's go with Miss Larisha. Please say your business and everything, where we can find you first, because I didn't get a chance to add your banner to the bottom. So let the world and the voices of watching this hear what you do, what you bring to the community. So this is all a business opportunity too. Also, I'm going to give my spiel before I let her talk. The VBBD. If you ain't got listed, get listed today. I promise you. This is how I met such wonderful people. One person led to the other, tagging people, sharing messages. So if you have not been listed yet, get listed today. And I promise you, you will not look back on it. It has been nothing but high rises for me from there.
That is so awesome. Well, thank you for that. Yes, I'm a new member for the VABBD, which is the Virginia Black Business Directory. I also handle the education pieces there. So all of the 4 or 5 events and trainings, lunch and learns that we have, I've had a hand in it of getting speakers to speak to all of our business owners within the directory so that they can flourish within their business, personally, spiritually, financially, any type of resource. I am also a business owner, and I'm a prior Marine, but once a Marine, always Marine. All right. So medically retired from the Marine Corps, and I have been out since 2014. I've been a business owner since, and I have a bath and body company. I'm actually in the studio now. It was the most lit and quietest place that I could be in for this. So we're online at artistrylather.com. We also have exclusive bundle packages on walmart.com, not in the store, but on their online platform as well. But most importantly, I am the niece to Darcy Sattler, who is my aunt. And she's always said that she was going to be big and on a bright stage. So, Auntie, this is for you. You already know that we love you and that we stood by you no matter what. We didn't know, we didn't care. All we wanted to do was make sure that you were good and you were comfortable in your last moments on earth, and know that we have never forgotten you. And we always celebrate you, and we always talk about you because you have always been the light of our family. You were the wild one that we loved and could bring the sun in a rainy day. So this is for you, Auntie. And then for those of you who are watching, I can promise you and I can guarantee you, people out there want you to succeed. So get tested, get the resources. And your family may not be loving and supporting and caring, but guess what? There's a made family out here for you that can be loving, supporting, and caring. And you want to add me to your family? I'm here, I'm there. You want me to hold your hand while you're going through it? I'm here, I'm there. I understand that my aunt and her last moments were some of the most peaceful times because we were there for her in those moments. So I want to be there for you. And the beautiful thing about it is you got the resources now. You have the medication now. You have all the things at your fingertips that's free or low cost. I'm not sure how FAHASS charges, but free or low cost or whatever, for you to live a life of impact and meaningfulness in here. So get tested. You got a community that's behind you.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
all, and all our testing is free.
There you go.
Miss Speaks.
I don't know how I can follow this up, and I mean, I don't never want to tell you got bad breath, but I'm trying to tell you every time you speak, I cry, baby. Like it just you have no idea. I've already looked up the soap business. I'm as a fellow soap maker, so I'm excited to learn more, and we will touch bases after this on so many levels. Thank you again. There's so much that I would love to say. Just definitely thank you, Cali Elite, for even having this and even having this moment. But I'm gonna say one thing: lead with love, and it comes back to you. And love isn't love until you give it away. And you can see for sure one thing for certain, and two things for wait, one thing for sure, and two things for certain, that there are people in this world that care about you and love you. And as a nerd, I would always tell you minutes plus or minus moments equals a lifetime. It takes a minute to complete a task. It takes a moment to make a difference to equal a lifetime of lasting memories, whether they're good or bad. And I just thank you on behalf of Echo VA, all of my colleagues, my partners in change, for having us here today.
Oh man, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I wanted to give the closing remarks based on everything. Just from the presentation alone, I would like to help advocate and educate any way I can to the families, to the youth, anywhere, my platform. As you guys know, I do a whole bunch of virtual life skill trainings that they can partake in, like resume writing, you know, um, essay writing. Everybody still needs to learn to write, math, anything they can do. We can come forth and help them, public speaking, financial literacy. All those are free via the website. Just click on calielite.com and set yourself a reminder. A few of them you have to go register through Eventbrite, and it'll send you the Zoom link. It's absolutely free of charge to you to just log in, get the information you need, because we all need financial literacy. We all need mental health awareness guidance. We all need to learn how to continue to critique resumes, because that's part of life skills. We're going to continue to grow. As Miss Speaks over here, she has a resume I probably can't even continue to write, because all them hats, I don't even know how I'm gonna fit it on the top of the title. But but at the end of the day, anything that I share when it comes to these workshops, please ensure that you share within your communities. I will continue to advocate and share anything you guys post socially as well if I see, because at the end of the day, this is a need, not a want. Right now, everybody needs to understand. They need to understand your health. Being healthy and being around for your loved ones is what means a lot to the community. That's from the story from Miss Larice. You see how it still bothers her a little bit today. You know what I'm saying? So let's all continue to just grow together. I would love to continue doing this if we can throughout the years to come together. Maybe we could grow this one platform can be something different next time in reference to national HIV and AIDS, and we can come on and speak on something that's changes. We can come on and speak about what's being taken away and how we're going to prevent it. Let's learn to use our voices and be of one, and not going against each other, fighting. So let's come together as one. And I'm just honored to just have this today, because at the end of the day, I told everybody my vision. I Googled the calendar for Black History Month, and I looked at everything that was celebrated in February. And I wanted to do one thing in February from Cali Elite to the community. And at the bottom, of course, it was National HIV and AIDS Day. And as soon as I got to the bottom, I was like, yo, this is really being overlooked. And it's so crazy because I heard a video on Instagram. I was scrolling through, and I think the video was from a guy up in the DC, Maryland area, naming the top 10 infected cities. And what got me was Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, Maryland were in the top 10. I think number 7 and number 8 on his list. And I'm like, oh my, trust me, everything that you guys told today, I was just intrigued, because I didn't know. But now I know. Now I want to read more into it. I was like, how can I be an advocate to read more into it? And what can I do to be a voice? And I figured this panel would be something so people listen into, so we all can be a voice to the community. Now they know a little something. They don't know it all, but we gave them, I guess, the seed to plant. So now hopefully they can water it and watch it grow fruitfully in the garden. But yeah, that's kind of what made me want to do this today. And it's like, oh my goodness. And then also, I wanted to do the walk on the 18th. I wish we could have did it this week, but according to the city, dates were already booked up. But I know every year I am going to do a national HIV, AIDS, and awareness support. The walk is untimed. It's just get out there, wear your red. We're going to play music. We're going to have snacks. We're going to allow you to walk the 5K. FAHASS will be out there with, with testing stuff and tables and ask questions. So if you have you can do this virtually. We ask for virtual support too. If you're nowhere in the vicinity of Fredericksburg on the day of, get you a team and go walk. Go out there and, get your exercise on and enjoy it and wear your red. So on the 18th of this month, I am doing the actual National HIV/AIDS and Awareness Walk in the city of Fredericksburg on the Canal Trail. So please register today online on my website at CaliEliteInc.com. Cali is spelled with a K, KaliEliteinc.com. Get out there and support this cause because it is a need, and we will continue to grow this platform from here on out. But
we do the same thing every year too. We have a chocolate run for FAHASS as a fundraiser on the canal path, and so yeah.
Well, from today forward, you will see me volunteering, supporting some way, somehow at the chocolate run. I will be there
September the 9th.
I'm going to add that to my calendar right now. See?
And while we add in dates, I will say, if you want to do this again, December 1st is World AIDS Day. And so I don't know, that's every year you can't go wrong with December 1st. So at all kinds of things is definitely, but super excited to hear how this came about and that. So I will be uplifting that in our Black United Leadership Initiative that has colleagues from across the country and the world, and letting them know we got to keep it going and see how you be involved in that process.
Yes. So September 9th and 1 December will be added to the calendar. You will see myself as part of my team out there enjoying it. And I'm just excited just to keep this going. So
for Saturday, how many has registered? Do you know?
Right now, we have 8 people. I think people determine on the weather and the code, but at the end of the day, whether it's one person, whether it's 5 person, we're still going to go out there and support the cause.
We always learned the last week. That's when they all started.
Yeah. So I'm hoping we get a little more participation to get out there and then so we can get some people out there just to enjoy. But remember to wear your red. I want to see all the people in red along the trail, being loud, walking, screaming, taking pictures and videos and stuff like that. So make sure you register today and get out there and support. Other than that, thank you guys for coming on this panel. It's been an honor. It's been a blessing to actually meet you guys for the first time on this side of town. I would say the platform time. And let's continue this. That's all I want to say. Let's continue this. Let's pick each other brain and figure out how we can do something work. Maybe we can do 1 December could be a bigger one. Maybe, some other people misspeaks that can come on here and speak and give, their expertise, their things. Same with you, Doug. Bring more people out and just make it a bigger panel. I think this StreamYard can hold up to 10 people. So if we can get 10 panelists that can speak, that's going to be an awesome, awesome, awesome thing. I think COVID helped us with this virtual world of learning how to utilize this panel. So
do you say word? Because a group of individuals I would love to always bring in the room because we do have a youth presence. We have a crew that we call the Dandelions, and they are youth that have been born with HIV. And so they have a whole platform to themselves that they come out and talk to folks that are younger than my 21 self and stuff, and share their lived experiences, especially when it comes to dating and relationships and having not ever lived a life without HIV. So, I told you, don't get it started. I will put you to work.
Hey, I'm on it. So man, maybe we could do something with them, being that I have the youth platform before December 1st. I would love to hear them talk, bring them on and just allow them to speak, because at the end of the day, their voice in general needs to be heard. And then a lot of people, I always say no question is a dumb question, because at the end of the day, no answer is a dumb answer, unless, some people are being sarcastic and jokeful, of course, but always would love to have them out there. So we'll definitely have to talk offline to get that brought up. So other than that, everybody, thank you guys for coming on board. And It's been a great day.
See you